Guénaël, tu m'entends?
Parfaitement, on t'entend et on vous voit et on vous voit très bien.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I will let Guénaël Vallée make the technical part and then we will go on. So, Guénaël?
Yes, welcome to everybody. I'm very pleased to see you. First, I invite you to a short discovery of the interface and show you the tools that you will need to interact during this event. So the first question that I want to ask is, can you hear me? If yes, you can click on the interaction tools that are at the top of the screen, just with the little end at the top, and you can thumb up. Donc, use the thumb up to say that you can hear me. Wonderful. It works perfectly. Okay, during this event, you can interact with the chat that is at the bottom of the screen, and you can write on the chat and ask your questions, and you can use the little end to ask a question, and use your microphone to do this. Yes, you can remove your thumb up now, please. To remove the thumb, you have to click on the little end and click over Aucun état. The first item in the menu. Okay, perfect. So now, in order to know who is connected and from where it is connected, is a Europe map that you can use to place you on this map. So you can use the interaction tools that will appear in a few seconds, and use the little T. The little T is the text annotation, and you can use this tool to place your name and organization on the map. The T tools, it's on the bottom of the screen. Okay, let's go. Okay, fine. Okay, a lot of people in France, but in other countries too. Okay, thank you very much. Jonas, maintenant peut-être que tu peux prendre le relais et puis faire la suite.
Yes, thank you very much, Guénaël. Thank you all, and now welcome to this webinar. So I will do a short introduction, and then I will tell you what we do. So we have two steps for today. First, some presentations from the expert teams, and then you will have time for questions and feedback. And the second step will be experiences from partner schools, and you also will have time for questions and feedback. The presentations will be in English, but you can use other languages to ask your questions in Italiano, en français, auf Deutsch, po slovensko, or of course in English too. This slide shows you that schools are the core aim of these projects, which means the expert team we are facilitators, but the purpose is to share resources within the network with other schools and colleagues. And we will show you some tools that will help you to share some ideas, some tools, some material with other schools in EOL. And now I will give the word to Leah.
Hello to everyone. I will present to you the working platform of the project. The platform is available only for registered members. You join the network, so you have access to different useful tools like a plan, matrix, toolbox, and resources from other schools too, which were developed to help partner schools. All those tools will help you to identify your problem, will help you to build your own project, will help you to manage your project. You can access to a large list of members to find your partner school. And there will be available resources from partner schools on our working platform too. Every partner school is invited to publish an example. So you will have the possibility to exchange of the best practices. So take a look at our working platform a little bit closely. We are now part of a large European network of partner schools. And when you log in onto our working platform, you will have access to presentation of more than 130 partner schools and teachers who has joined the EOL project. This is a wide network of schools, and you can search for a partner school and contact the school for further collaboration. On our working platform, you can find a toolbox. For now, it contains forum, presentations, and synopsis. Forum can help schools and teachers to assess and enrich their partnerships, exchange experience, ask questions. And Sylvia will present you more about the forum and how to use it. By the click on presentations, you will have access to recordings of the webinars and the PowerPoint presentations and even more. Synopsis is a summary of project titles that already exists and could help you. Resources from schools, this is the treasury of the EOL project. It shows all the amazing work done by the partner schools. It will contain the project of EOL projects, videos, documents, examples. This is the right place if you are looking for some new ideas and if you need some materials for your own work at school. The matrix is the main tool of the projects. The matrix is a dynamic tool. It gives you an overview of our different fields which can support schools developing learning environments. Let me show you an example how can you use the matrix. Your school would like to realize synergies between learning, teaching, training, and communication methods, and would like to focus on setting up a whole school language policy. So you have to match the second dimension, valuing languages, with the meso level of the matrix. And you have to look the box 2.3. Learning environment should be considered in a double perspective, 4 languages. So bring together individual aims and collective goals. and true languages to guarantee safe language environment, guarantee equal opportunities. You can use the EOL metric scale too, the key parameters which leads to learning environments. You define your level, your starting point, and you can choose between 4 levels. Well, all these tools are leading guides which can help schools and teachers to create, manage, and develop their own projects. The matrix is a dynamic tool. It will be tested and improved all the way through the 4 years of the EOL project, and it will be connected to a glossary and different tools and resources. Now Silvia will tell you more about the forum.
Hi, so I'm going to show you an important space within the platform, which is represented by a space where you can share not just resources, as you have seen, but ideas, experiences, and especially you can ask each other questions and maybe also find solutions and suggesting ideas to make the project go on. The forum, we have decided to organize the forum into different threads. The first one is about multilingualism. The second one is about intercultural education. The third is about languages and the school climate. And the last one is about languages and professional development. Then we have added an extra space which is called meeting point. It's considered a place where you can share ideas, points of view, questions which cannot be fit in any of the other 4 parts that we have organized for this space. Please use the forum as much as you can. This is the space where you can ask each other questions. Here you can see how the different forums have been planned and conceived. Now it's time for Christine to, it's time for you to go through a survey, after which Christine will show you some key points of the project.
Thank you very much, Leah and Sylvia. Ginael, it's now up to you for the survey.
Let's go for the survey that will appear in a few seconds on your screen.
So you will find here 2 questions for the survey about the forum. Thank you for answering these 2 questions.
bien.
Okay, Genael, do you have all the answers?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So thank you very much. As you can see, the multilingualism aspect is the first one you are interested in, and this is not a surprise. So it's great, and it's great to see that no one shows none. So we are very happy to see that you will contribute on the forum and during the coming weeks. Maybe we can have the answers to the second question also, Genael? Or it's below?
The second question is displayed on the screen.
Oh, it's below. Okay. Oh, great. You are really motivated in contributing to the forum. Fantastic. This is very important for us as your participation is the key aspect of what can be the networking part of the project. So thank you very much. Genael, I suggest we move on.
Yes.
To the third point. Okay. Thank you. And now it's Christine.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to the webinar also, and I'm from Ireland but with a non-Irish accent. So just the next point that we had was, and I'm trying to speak slowly, was about challenges. How can partner schools develop their own projects? So how can we help you? Believe it or not, we actually have a plan. So would you please use our plan when you're working on your project proposal? We're having two components. So what's needed for a language-friendly environment, language-friendly learning environment? Would you please put your name down on the scale? So where would you position your school? There are two components. So on one hand, you have the culture. So as an example, do you value various cultural backgrounds at your school? For example, do you cook together? So how high is the importance of culture in your school? The second component is that aspect of structure, and you have some examples there in blue. But for example, equipment to support language teaching, and all teachers love timetabling. So maybe you could put your name there in between the two graphs. Where would you position your school in relation to the first two components of our plan, which is culture and structure? And I give you a bit of time to do so.
So if you want to do this, you will have to click on the T once again and to just write your first name on this board. Thank you.
Thank you. You see, we're a real team. So I hope the first entry might come soon. And do please use the chat in case you have questions. Oh yeah, there is a S. Excellent. Yes, we are going to see some names. Veronique, Emmanuel, Natal. Lovely. So you have no problems to allocate where your school stands. Okay? Very much impressed by Veronique, very much high in culture and structure. Very promising. We look forward to hear more about your project. Yeah? Okay, I suppose most of you, oh, another one, Michelle, okay. Ah, Selina. Did we give you enough time? It's lovely, excellent to see some names appearing. So that's great. So we presume you actually know where you position your school to it. So very much merci, vielen Dank, Gorf Margut, and thank you. Now, unfortunately, that's not it, because we have another third dimension, as you can see from our next slide, which are the stakeholders of functions. So questions I would ask you is, have you included the parents when you are designing your project? Or what about cooperation with other teachers? How can you include as many stakeholders in your project as possible? And you're also going to have a bit more information on our 3 dimensions, culture, structures, and stakeholders on the right, in orange, blue, and green, just to help you to understand the meaning behind the keywords. So more information. So we are really hoping that your starting point will be using our plan. And we would like to share just briefly, because I'm sure my 3 minutes are up, some examples from some of our French partner schools. So if you look at the lycée in Lamballe, there is a common goal that language matters within the specific school context and in sharing a common culture. I thought that was most interesting to create that as a common goal, because you're already linking culture and language. And then you have another example that you can see here, you see in Lens, and they are dwelling on the culture aspect by a vocational setting and how can they include intercultural skills. And again, that's, I think, most interesting because it's basically in practice, what does actually intercultural competence mean and having a multicultural environment. So many thanks to our French schools for providing these very interesting examples. And without further ado, I give back the role to Jonas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine. As Christine just said, the plan is the first step for you to help you to design learning environments where modern languages flourish. You will find on the working platform document called Synopsis, where you have all the different plans from the French schools, if you want to read them and to get maybe some ideas which could be helpful for your context and your school. So now I will present you the schedule. The first point when you start to work on EOL is to get an overview over all the projects you have in your school by using the plan. Then it is to get some common projects to finally have a whole school language policy. As you can see, the French schools started in 2016 and the other schools are beginning now. The forum is open and the network too, so we hope that we can start now networking between the partner schools, the different partner schools, the teachers, the school principals. We already said that we expect from you resources, which is our treasure, and as you can see, everything is interesting for us. The overview is interesting, the common projects you are making are very interesting, and of course the design of a whole school language policy. But also what the exchanges you have on the forum and maybe the new partnerships you can create within the network are very interesting for us. And our resources we want to use to create, by the end of the project, 2 training platforms. One for teachers and one for school principals. As you can see, we are now on the webinar, and there are other steps in the coming weeks in the project. We will share with you proposal about a MOOC in a few minutes, and in January 2018 we will have the network of the EOL project, the network meeting, and next year the workshop. And we hope that these information are clear to you. So maybe it's time for you to ask some questions to the team about the different presentations, and then we will continue with concrete examples from the partner schools. Thank you very much. To ask your questions maybe directly using the chat, and we will try to answer it. Thank you. Okay, so Tanya just wrote, I'm afraid I don't quite understand. So please, Tanya, if you want to use your microphone to tell us how we can help you. Okay, you do understand now, so the presentation was clear to you. Thank you. Okay, does anybody have some questions about our tools, about our plan, about the schedule? Otherwise, we can switch over to the examples, maybe.
Okay, just typing now.
No, it's okay. You can say it.
Just so Jonas was just saying about a question of how to increase stakeholders. I mean, just with starting with the parents, because they're so important. I think parents associations, parent committees of a school, that's one avenue. But you also need the support of your principal, your school management, and they will have certain networks of the to the stakeholders, and they would be in a position to advise individual teachers how to include further stakeholders from their networks. And then go further. I mean, this is localized. Go further. Is there a language policy in your country? What stakeholders are listed in that language policy, for example? So use existing networks and tell them about your project and ask individuals how could they participate in your project in your school. But it has to be in a systematic manner. You have to plan it and be aware what stakeholders are available to you, and you cannot do it on your own. You need the support of your colleagues, also non-language teachers, and you need the support from management. That's the findings from other projects who were dealing with multicultural projects at schools, and also I think from the French schools in general. Jonas, would you agree?
Yes,
yeah?
of course. Yes, of course.
Okay, I hope that answers the question.
So please let us know if this was a good answer for you. Another question is in French. Comment sera-t-il possible d'entrer en contact avec les établissements partenaires du projet dans d'autres pays que la France? How is it possible to get in touch with other partner schools elsewhere than in France? The easiest way is to go on the working platform and to click on the name on the different schools or on the teachers' names, and you will find the email. You will see the email, and that's, I think, the easiest way to get in touch with the other schools. Another possibility is to look at synopsis. This is for other schools than French schools. If you look at the synopsis of a French school, you might be interested, you might find some similarities with your situation, with your context, and you think this could be good to have some time to think about a common project or to create a partnership. So please use also this way. And this is also why it is very important for everybody that every school writes its own synopsis, its own plan, and share it with the other schools. And there is a third way to get in touch with other schools. It is to use the forum. So please use it. It's there just for you, just to enlarge your network, just to get over challenges together. So I hope this is also helpful, a good answer for this question. Okay. I hope we didn't miss any of your questions. Okay, so I suggest we move on to the examples from the partners, and then you will have time after each presentation to ask your questions. You can use the chat, or you will see you can use also the slide directly to ask your questions. Monika Klamminger from the Seebacher Gymnasium should present the overview of from this school, but I can't see her online now, so I suppose she couldn't attend the webinar. So I suggest that Séverine Pock might say some words. If you're okay, Séverine?
Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Shall I start?
Okay. Séverine, please, you can start now. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes, to everyone. Collège Jean Moulin is a comprehensive school located in Berck-sur-Mer in the north of France. There are about 750 pupils from 12 to 15 years old. The aim of our project is to increase the cultural openness of our pupils because we are confronted with a high unemployment rate in our town and with sedentary pupils. So we decided to create an augmented reality, digital and multilingual newspaper. The topic of this newspaper is of course a cultural topic, street art. Last year the issue was art of vandalism, and this year was to separate or to communicate. The languages used in the newspaper are French, English, German, and this year a Spanish teacher is joining us. It is a real cross-curricular project because on top of the different languages, we've got arts and also this year history, geography, and biology working on the project. Now, maybe some of you don't know what augmented reality is. Well, the best way is to give you an example. Imagine you have in front of you a famous painting. When you scan this painting with a smartphone or a tablet, you'll see appearing on your screen information. It can be many things. It can be, for example, the biography of the painter, it can be an interview with the painter, or even a video explaining the meaning of this painting. So I think you can easily imagine the high potential of this digital tool. That's why we use it, first of all, to improve the cultural knowledge of our pupils, but also because it is a great educational and motivational tool. Not only the pupils use augmented reality, but also they create augmented reality. That's what's really interesting. And thanks to augmented reality, you can make pupils speak, read, and write. Now, in order to be more concrete, we're going to show you the different steps of the project through a short video. So, Guinel?
Your role is to write an article, okay? So we have different steps, and the first step is to find information about the street artists and their art, their work, okay? So you have the board here that you can find on your little worksheets, okay? So now you take your tablet, okay, and you launch the Orasma application.
Why do you do street art?
I love making work outside in a public space because a lot of people could see it.
I'm Bensi, but my real name is Queen Elizabeth. A young girl saw me last night. I saw a shadow in a dark corner.
When do you paint?
That's a very good question. It depends how much time I have.
So thank you very much, Séverine, for this presentation of this excellent project. We may now have a few minutes for questions. If you want to ask Séverine some questions about the project or about the augmented reality, please.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Séverine.
Thank you very much. Okay, so concerning the technical part, for the teachers, there was a training concerning augmented reality before, and I was here to help my colleagues, of course. For the students, it was not that difficult because we use Erasmus, and Erasmus is quite intuitive, really.
Okay, thank you very much, Séverine. We are all still very impressed by the whole work that has been done on this project. So thank you very much for the presentation. Yes, and I suggest that if the other partner schools are interested in discussing with you more details, you can contact Séverine directly, or you can just put some questions on the forum, which might be best, so others can take part to the discussion. So thank you very much, Séverine, and I'm now asking Olivier for the next presentation. This will be a presentation of the impact of EOL on the global education policy. So, Olivier, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Can you hear me? Shall I start?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the project in the Académie de Rouen, which is located in the northwest of France, involves 2 secondary schools for 15 to 18-year-olds, which are, by the way, of 2 types. On the one hand, a general and technical school, and on the other hand, a vocational school. And they are both located in the same rural area. The point was that the 2 schools are pretty close, but they don't work together at all. They are seen as 2 separate entities. And besides, they're far from big cities, and they are in a very rural environment. What you've got to know, by the way, is that in France, these 2 different streams are usually separated by a sort of invisible barrier, which isn't simply the physical distinction of their geographical location. So the 2 schools didn't work together, but they had a lot in common, a lot to share, and a common concern, which was we want to develop our students' personal expression. We want to give the students their say, and we would like them to be more involved in school life. In other words, couldn't we work together in order to turn our students into active students, into citizens, and couldn't we promote values of citizenship through active participation? Obviously, foreign languages appear as a powerful tool to promote such values as tolerance, respect, open-mindedness, and mutual understanding, particularly because foreign languages deal with diversity and difference. So in order to help teachers in the two schools, we started a training session, which was taken, three teacher trainers were in charge of this training session. The idea was to help them to get to know one another, because as I said previously, they knew nothing or hardly anything about one another. Getting to know what a vocational school is and what a general school is. Also trying to find all that they had in common, trying to make them share their teaching practices, and trying to get them to work together on common activities or common projects. I could give one or two examples to make this as clear as possible. For instance, they organized a brunch. What I mean is that the students from the vocational school and from the general school worked in mixed teams, and the project took place in the training restaurant. It was a sort of role-playing activity, customers, staff, and what was really interesting is that the teams were mixed. For the students from the general school, first of all, they discovered what a brunch was. They didn't know anything about the concept. They worked on recipes in English with their friends. They discovered that their friends had great skills. As for the students from the vocational school, they improved their English. And that was very, very, very positive on the whole. A second example, but I won't dwell too much on it, is about debating societies developed in history and geography. So what about the impact? First, from the head's point of view, the EOL program helped strengthen the links between the teachers teaching the same subject, but also teachers teaching different subjects. It also created a form of coherence between all the members of the staff. Another positive aspect is that it favors a new approach to students. That is to say that students are not only students, but they are citizens, and what they think and what they suggest are taken into account. This student-centered approach is something really interesting. As for the two schools, what is also interesting is that the two heads work together, and now they are seen as real pedagogical leaders. They're very supportive, they help all the teachers in order to make this project come true. There is a real atmosphere of trust and support. One or two examples to illustrate this idea is that, for instance, they have worked on particular timetables so that teachers from the two schools can meet and work together on common activities. They're also thinking of creating a common event during the school year. Could be, for instance, a specific day devoted, in order to promote languages. As for the teachers, for them, the experience is positive because they can share teaching practices. They are ready now to try. They're not afraid of developing new ways of teaching. For example, developing group work. They're not afraid at all, and they also discover that they have a lot of skills they didn't know. They worked with teachers, with colleagues, but they didn't know that they had so many skills in certain fields. So they understand that they can rely on their own skills. There's also another positive aspect is that they work on oral production, and they feel that the students can gain confidence and self-esteem. And that's also a very, definitely that's a plus Families also, and this has been mentioned previously during the presentation, families have a very positive image of both schools now. They feel that both schools are open, dynamic, and creative. And in a way, it bridges the gap between vocational and general education, at least locally. And to finish with, maybe I could say that also the teachers feel that they are part of a great community. They are not isolated teachers, but in each school there is a community of teachers, and more than that, a community of people working in the same direction in order to, well, to make students be successful.
So, thank you very much, Olivier. We now have some time for questions. I may maybe ask the first question. Do you think what was a challenge at the beginning was to work with two different, very different type of schools? Do you think it could be a success factor to develop a common culture, to work with very different schools? What do you think?
Well, interesting question. Yeah, I believe so. Yes, if schools are different, but if they have something in common, we can feel that differences are not so deep as we could imagine. So if headmasters have a strong determination, and if teachers feel that they can gain a lot from that, differences, well, to me, are no obstacles.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer, Olivier. I asked Olivier to give us a feedback from this experience in Rouen because the aim was to show to everyone that networking and working together in a very simple way or in a very systematic way, as it's done in Rouen, is a very powerful lever to get to a language-friendly and student-friendly learning environment. So maybe you have now some questions for Olivier. Okay, I think you need maybe some time to think about. Oh no, there is a question. Oh, fantastic! Thank you. And there is a question from Veronique and also from Romualda. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Olivier?
Okay, as for the first
Yes,
question,
please.
Could you repeat the 3 values you wanted your students to experience? Well, 3 at least, but maybe more than 3. At least tolerance, respect. I also mentioned mutual understanding. And I said that's why we thought that languages, foreign languages, were a good way to make them develop this open-mindedness, because when you work on foreign languages, you work on something that is different from what you are, a different culture, different different words, different feelings. So that's why the fact that we associated this experience with foreign languages was positive. By the way, I forgot to mention that if foreign language teachers were, of course, involved in the project, what is interesting is that teachers from other subjects, but also psychologists, nurses, school counselors are also part of the project. That's why I mentioned one community. That's for the first question. As for the second, the question is how to connect the school experience with the action plan for partner schools. Well, difficult question, to be quite honest. I think that according to the 4 categories Jonas mentioned at the beginning of his presentation, there's certainly there's something about languages and school climate, and I think that the expression which is giving students the opportunity to have their say will certainly enable them to be more ready to learn, because they will have the feeling that their ideas will be taken into account. So, the idea we have in mind is that working on that aspect will create a more serene work environment, and will certainly as well will be favorable to learning. So maybe partner schools may work on a slightly different subject, but if the aim is to make a very safe and very safe and work environment, that could be a common denominator.
Thank you, Olivier. May I add something? Perhaps if you look back at the plan with the 3 issues, culture, structure, and stakeholders, what both schools in Rouen reached is that these 3 points are not isolated. They are combined. To answer Romualda's question about the school experience, I think the school experience has become part of the culture of each stakeholder, which means within the community, everybody shares the school experience, the challenges, and deals with the structures which are available locally. So I think when you get to the point where you join these 3 aspects, I think you are quite close to a learning environment where modern languages flourish. So this might be a good way to see how far you can go in your project. Thank you very much, Olivier.
Yeah, it's very true. That is to say that the EOL project has become theirs, and the teachers keep telling me that once the EOL project, the 4-year project, is over, this will go on locally. That is to say, it will not end once the EOL project is over.
Well, this is perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Olivier, for this analysis on the impact of EOL. And I hope you're right, and I hope that the schools will continue to work together, because it seems to be very efficient. Just one word to Genael. Genael, I'm missing the menu on the right side of my screen, so I cannot switch to the next point. If you could just change the screen. Yes. Yes. So one word now on the MOOC. We have the chance. We had the chance to get in contact with Gobelin School in Paris, which is the school for images, and very well, famous school worldwide. Some of the collaborators in DreamWorks, for example, went to the Gobelin to train. So you see, it's a very it's a great school for images, and the Gobelin offered us the opportunity, gave us the opportunity to include the EOL network schools in a project which would be a MOOC, a massive online open course, from the 4th of November till the end of December, giving you the opportunity to make professional videos with your smartphones. And as you have seen with the presentation of Séverine, the technical skills might be useful to enrich projects and develop your learning environments. So if I may ask Genael to run the video about the book. Thank you.
Gobelin, l'école de l'image, s'inscrit avec le lancement de ce premier MOOC dans la dynamique du partage de compétences professionnelles pour tous. Aujourd'hui, nous vous proposons la réalisation de vidéos en utilisant un outil simple de tous les jours, son smartphone.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Patrick Thierry, je suis chef opérateur prise de vue et coordinateur pédagogique à Gobelin, l'école de l'image.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Laurent Claus, je suis journaliste, spécialiste de la high-tech, reporter d'images et formateur à Gobelin. Dans votre poche, vous disposez aujourd'hui d'une caméra haute définition qui vous permet de partager à n'importe quel moment vos prises de vue sur Internet. Elle est plus simple à utiliser qu'une caméra professionnelle, évidemment, mais elle vous permet de réaliser à peu près n'importe quel type de vidéos, des films de fiction, des vidéos de communication. Moi-même, en tant que journaliste, je l'utilise régulièrement pour réaliser des reportages pour le web.
Ce MOOC s'adresse à un public très large, possesseur de smartphones, curieux, passionnés. Vous avez envie de créer, de raconter par l'image et par le son des histoires à titre personnel ou professionnel. Vous êtes sur le terrain, vous avez besoin de communiquer, alors ce MOOC est fait pour vous.
Pour réaliser des vidéos de pro avec un smartphone, il y a un certain nombre de savoirs à acquérir. D'abord, vous allez apprendre à maîtriser les fonctions caméra de votre smartphone. Et puis, vous devez connaître les règles de base du cadrage, de la composition, de l'éclairage et de la prise de son. Ensuite, vous allez apprendre à raconter une histoire par l'image et par le son. Et puis enfin, à monter simplement vos images avec un outil en ligne.
En 4 semaines, nous allons alterner des apports théoriques et des apports pratiques, ainsi que des mises en situation concrètes. À la fin de chaque semaine, nous allons vous proposer de réaliser par vous-même des films courts, de type fiction, de type reportage et de type pub. Nous insisterons beaucoup sur les aspects de la narration qui nous semblent être importants de l'état d'esprit de la pédagogie à Gobelin. Et nous serons là pour vous guider.
Durant ces 4 semaines, nous ferons intervenir des experts et des invités surprises. Ce MOOC a été conçu pour favoriser le travail collaboratif, les échanges entre vous et créer ainsi une véritable communauté d'apprentissage. Vous apprendrez en faisant, en ayant acquis bien sûr auparavant tous les savoirs indispensables pour avancer par vous-même.
Inscrivez-vous!
So this was a short video about the MOOC. You may now have some questions about this event. Maybe I just give you another information. The MOOC will be only in French. So what seems to be a challenge is in fact a good opportunity to work together, maybe with a French teacher at your school, or make language and subject teachers work together, learn together, train together, using the smartphone and working together on communication skills. So if you are interested in participating to the MOOC, please register on the working platform. We have just settled on the working platform a space where you can register, and we will collect all the emails of the teachers who want to participate to the MOOC, and we will bring them together, get them together to Les Gobelins, so you can register directly on the working platform. So we now have time for feedbacks or questions on the MOOC, or on the examples, or on the tools, or on the global EOL project. Please use the chat. So we have a first question from Rachel. Combien de professeurs d'un établissement peuvent être inscrits au MOOC? How many teachers from one school can attend to the MOOC? How many teachers as possible? There is no limit. Okay, we think this was a lot of information, and maybe you need some time to think it over, and it's now time maybe for the general feedback, but before we go to the final feedback session, we would like to insist about the forum, participating or contributing on the forum is very important for the project, and very useful for you to exchange some ideas and to work together to be connected and to network. So may I ask you, Genael, to launch the final feedback survey? Thank you very much. So you have also 2 questions here. Thank you for answering the two questions. Okay. Okay, Genael, can you show us the results? Oh, thank you. Very, very good. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for your feedback. We can see you are quite satisfied with the webinar of today because nearly 30% said it was excellent and nearly 30% said too they were looking forward to the next webinar. So this is fantastic. And I hope I can scroll down to the results. Well, I have a problem with my computer, so I cannot scroll down to see the results of the second question. Oh yes, yes I can. The next webinar should focus on content and input about language learning and multilingualism. Nearly 60% of the answers go in this direction, and content and input about learning environments. So you're more on content, and this is great. So this is a great indication for us. On behalf of the EOL team, we really thank you very much for attending the webinar, for participating. It's very important that we can continue exchanging points of view, exchanging ideas. Please don't hesitate to give us feedback on our tools. We need you to improve the tools that are online on the working platform. And we look forward for the next webinar. And a special thank to Genael. Thank you very much, Genael, for the administration of the webinar. You're perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can switch on your webcam if you want to say a short hello.
Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello to all. It was really nice having this time with you, and well, hello. And we will continue to exchange, and please use the forum. So thank you very much to all.
Yay! Oh, yay!
Yeah, hello.
Brilliant! That's really nice to see. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, bye bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Sloan.
Okay.
Yes.